Moon here. It's been a while. Um, so this is kind of random. I know this is a random podcast episode, but I kind of felt the urge to talk about something because I've been feeling this way for a little bit now, and I just thought it'd be best to kind of use my platform as an outlet. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about it. I have been feeling super unfulfilled lately, just with what I'm doing in life, where I feel like I'm going. Like, I feel just like this strong uncertainty about everything I'm doing. Like, I feel like I'm just not sure of anything, which is crazy because when I was in school, I really felt like I knew the path I was going on. I knew what I was going to do, I knew who I was going to be. But I feel like ever since I've been out of school and working, it's just I feel almost like all my clarity has just like left me. Like I feel like I've just kind of been thrown into the void and I don't quite know how to get out. Um and it's so crazy cuz you know, and I know comparison is like the thief of joy, and I know I shouldn't be comparing myself to others, but I feel like other people my age, like if you see things on like social media, like it feels like so many people just knew what they wanted to do and knew who they wanted to be, and I just don't. Like I have no idea what I want to do as a career path. I know I don't want to stay where I am. I don't like my job right now because it's boring. It doesn't stimulate me in any way, shape, or form. But I don't know. I feel almost like I'm trapped there. Does that make sense? Like it kind of feels like I'm stuck in that world. And I've been fighting to get out for like a few months at this point, and I just feel like every time I see a glimpse, it's just like nope. And I know the truth of the matter is that if an opportunity is meant for me, it'll be for me. But I don't know, sometimes it's just a little discouraging when you you know are looking and even interviewing and then have jobs just never get back to you. Even though deep down I know why I they're not meant for me. I know that. And I think a part of me knew that when I was even applying to the jobs. Because truth be told, I don't think sitting behind a desk is what I'm meant to be doing. I just don't. Like I feel it deep in my spirit that like sitting behind a desk typing, making phone calls, not to say there's anything wrong with that, but I know that's not for me. Like I have so many talents. I have so many things going for me. Like I'm so creative just as a person. Like I know that there is some sort of creative outlet for me. It's just not ready yet. And I know that, but sometimes there's this peaking feeling of like, well, what if it never comes? Like, what if I'm not meant to be this creative person that I know that I am? Like, what if I'm doomed to like sit behind a desk for the rest of my life? Like, I don't want to do that. Like, this, I want to do this, what I'm doing, speaking with you guys, those who listen to me, even though it's like my three family members who like listen to my videos and my covers. Like I love doing this. Singing and music is my passion. That's what I love. That's like number one for me. And doing these podcast episodes, doing these videos, they've brought me like such a sense of like how can I can't even really explain it. It's just it brings me a feeling that I've never felt before. Like it's like a diary. I don't know if you guys remember, but when I first made this podcast, it was meant to be like a diary, something for me to vent through. But I feel like it has become more than that almost. Like, yeah, only my family has seen it, but it's only a matter of time before other people do. And when they do, I can just imagine how people will feel seen by my experiences and who will feel like, they've been heard, or, you know, they can relate to someone else. Like, I know I have a bigger purpose than sitting behind a desk. I know it. It's just, it's hard when you can't see it. But that's why a really big thing for me right now is when it comes to the place I work at now, I've completely detached from it. Tabitha Brown, and I love quoting this, me and my family talk about this all the time. She talked about how, people get in these dead end jobs and they decorate their desk and put all these sentimental things around it as if they want to stay there. And she said, when you ready to leave a job, you take everything off your desk and you make it so that it looks like anybody could sit right down in your seat and do your job, because you on the way out. And that's what I did. And instead of treating the job like, because I was one of those people, and this is more when I first started working, because my love language, the way I feel, the most appreciated is through words of affirmation. I would feel like, oh, if I didn't reach this total, I'm not good at my job. If I didn't do this amount of sets or sell this amount of whatever, I wasn't good at my job. And then I would beat myself up as a person because of it. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but, for me, my biggest thing for a longest time was school. And that's where I got all my words of affirmation from, because that's where I got all my compliments. If anything else, I knew I was intelligent and I knew I was a hard worker. I knew my work ethic was crazy. So that's where I got all my words of affirmations from. But, when you leave school and then, you're in a situation like me where I kind of felt like after I left school, I'm like, well, what am I good at now? Because school was my main thing. Like, yeah, I liked kind of like drawing. People knew I could sing kind of. People knew I could kind of do things, but I was mainly known for my academics. And so when school ended for me, it was kind of like, okay, well, if I'm not in school, then what am I good at? Because my main thing would be, oh, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, and I would default to that. But I had never really put effort into what I loved. And then I realized what happened was I substituted school with work. So I would do like 130%. Not to say there's anything wrong with that. But the issue became when I was working myself to death, and that stuff at work was really affecting me, like beyond the workplace. Like, I used to really beat myself up if I didn't, for example, if I didn't make 14 sets in a week, I would beat myself up. Now, no, that is way above norm. But, it's that feeling of getting rewarded for doing well that I love. Because it makes me, I used to equate my self-worth with how well I was doing at a particular task. And I used to feel like if I was not good, or if I wasn't performing a certain way, that then talked about me as a person. But what really there were multiple things that made me stop feeling that way, besides just, me being on this journey of like self-love, but also not liking my job. I'm not going to use the word hate, because I feel like hate is a strong word. Not liking my job, it made me realize, like, I'm putting all this effort into a job I don't like. That's not benefiting me, because the truth of the matter is, this work is really slow for a multitude of reasons. Work is very slow right now. And so I was putting in the same amount of effort and getting less and less and less and less results every time. Not because I was doing anything wrong, but because of the business I was in, it's just not lucrative anymore. And so that took a toll on me for a bit, because I was like, dang, like, what can I do? Okay, I need to do this. I need to do this. Maybe if I word it more like this, maybe if I do this, maybe if I do. And when it wasn't working, I was putting all the weight on me. I was like, oh my God, like, maybe I'm not good at this job. Like, I thought I was super good. I was doing so well. Like, what happened? Like, I was really beating myself up. And then, and I don't know how, for me, when I come to like revelations, it's kind of like a switch for me. It's like my brain rewires immediately. Like, literally what happened was, I got to a point where I realized, like, oh, this is a job. And all I have to do to get paid is do my job and then go home. Not to say like, oh, like I don't put in effort, because it's not that. But what I realized is, it's a job. It's not a quantity of my worth. It doesn't say anything about me as a person. If I go in there, do my best, and go home, as long as I did what I was supposed to do, that's it. And once I kind of got that mindset, it was kind of like, oh. But then, see, it almost made the situation worse, because then I got that mindset, and then I really was like, okay, I really don't want to be here, because now I'm not even invested in what's happening. Because I feel like me having my own crisis about connecting my self-worth to my work is what was keeping me invested. And the second I disconnected that and realized what it really was, I was like, oh, well, I'm ready to go. But my thing is, I wanted to make sure I had somewhere to go, which is why I'm kind of in the process of like looking for jobs and stuff. But the more I look, the less I want to work. Like, not even to be funny, but it's like, I don't want to be sitting behind a desk anymore. I don't want to do that. Like, that's not my calling, and I know it's not. I know it's not. And you know what's crazy? When I first started working, I knew when a job was for me. I knew it. And I knew when a job wasn't really for me. I always knew. And I always knew when I was going to get the job. I always knew when I was going to get the job, and I always knew if it was for me. My first, my first job I ever had, loved it. They didn't pay me enough, to be honest, but I loved that job. If they had increased my pay, I'd still be there today. But I knew that job was for me. My second job, deep down, I knew it kind of wasn't for me, but I knew that in doing it, it'd be a learning experience, and I learned a lot. Third job, knew it was for me. Now, technically, I went back to where I was working the first time, but it was slightly different because it was during the pandemic. And then the job I'm at right now. I think this job was for me for a season. I think it was meant to teach me something. I truly believe, and this is corny, but this is like a Medea quote, where they say certain things are meant to be in your life for a season. And then once that season passes, they leave and you move on. I feel like that's what this job is. I feel like this job is, okay, this is for you to see like what sitting behind the desk is like. And I enjoyed it for a little while things were, lucrative. Because I'm not going to lie, when I first started working there, it was great. I was talking to people, making conversations. I was even being way more social than I once was, And it also, this job taught me way more than any other job, because at my other jobs, like, yes, I was social, but because at the time I was working with kids, it wasn't really the same. Like, they're kids. Like, there's no anxiety in talking to a child. But, like, through working where I work at now, like, I was talking with adults. I had to have detailed conversations with other adults. And it kind of broke me out of my... Now, no, I still have anxiety. I still deal with it. It's still hard for me to, like, walk up to a stranger and be like, hey, how you doing this morning? Like, the likelihood of me doing that is, like, slim to none. I'm gonna be honest. But this job has taught me how to, at least in a professional setting, have a conversation. And that's valuable information. And I'm amazed that I have it, but I feel like the season has passed. But I kind of feel like the season's passed and I'm still there. Does that make sense? But I feel like, even in saying that, I'm realizing, like, I know that when the time is right, I will find something that's right for me. Because I'm telling you, whenever I get a job that's for me, I know it's for me the second I go in there and I apply for the job. I know it's for me the second I apply. Everything I've applied for, I knew was not for me. I knew, but honestly, I was getting desperate. I was like, I just want another job. I just want to move. I just want to do something else. And what I'm realizing is you can't rush change. Change is one of those things you have to allow at its own pace. It's like you can't rush it and you can't slow it down. Like, you have to kind of move. You have to flex with how things change. It may not be my time to change jobs yet. I may have to work there a little longer till I find what I'm looking for. Or I might just take that leap and quit and keep searching. I don't know yet. I've been considering it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. Because I do genuinely feel that, like, I'm meant to, like, transfer into something once I find it. I don't think I'm supposed to, like, quit and then, like, find something. Especially since your boy got bills now. I don't have time for all that. But if that's what it's meant to be, that's what it's meant to be. But I know that when the time is right, I will find something for me. If not me just doing this full time. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm about to start, like, really revving up on my videos, because I decided, like, I'm going to be creative. Like, I'm going to put myself out there in the world and share my gifts and share some of my knowledge and my experiences, because I feel like they're valuable. And I am going to make it my business to put more effort into this, because this kind of thing, doing this, talking, this is what I love. Singing, that's what I love. Y'all haven't seen me draw anything, but drawing, that's what I love. Telling stories, that's what I love. Writing stuff, that's what I love. Being a creative is what I love. And that's what I'm going to start putting my energy in. That job, child, I'm going to walk in there, clock in at my time, do what I need to do for my little hours, and then clock out. But when I get home, this is what I'm putting my energy into. I even am slowly starting to make a streaming setup. I want to start streaming. You know what's crazy? This conversation started with me talking about me feeling unfulfilled. But I'm realizing now through this conversation that I'm having with you guys that I have to fill up my own cup. I can't wait for it to be filled by something else, is what I'm realizing. I have to be the one to say, you know what? I'm feeling unfulfilled. Let me go do something that fulfills me. I can't wait for that fulfilling opportunity. I have to create the opportunity. I'm sure a new job will come, but till then, this is what I'm putting my energy on. And this is what Spirit has been trying to tell me for some time now. I see. I get you. You know, like I said, y'all know me. I'm a little hard headed, but this is what I'm meant to do. This is how I get out of that funk. Creating something for a bigger purpose and doing this, not for money, for views, not for none of that, but just because it's what I like to do. So many people ask me, what do you like to do? And I used to always when you're a kid, it's easy. I feel like when you're a kid, you have and I'm not sure if I said this already, but I feel like when you're a kid, you have such a clarity of what you want to be. I feel like when teachers ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? They have an answer almost immediately. Now, of course, to the adult, it sounds outlandish, but the truth of the matter is the sky is the limit. You can do whatever you want. You can be whoever you want to be, genuinely. And I know that's cliche. I know people say that, when they're trying to be fake inspirational. But the truth of the matter is the sky really is the limit. And even then, that ain't the limit. I can do this. I believe that. I feel like if I really put 100% into this, into upgrading my covers, getting better equipment so I can do even better covers, I'm getting into streaming, working on building an audience, I could do this to the point where this could be my job. So you know what? That's what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to, for once, put my energy into doing the things I love. And I'm not putting it on anything else. I'm not worried about work. Of course, I'm still going to be looking for a new job because, your boy needs some cash. But this is my passion project. And I'm going to work on it. I've never, it's crazy. I'm sitting here thinking, I've never taken time to do something I love, outside of when I was in choir in high school. I've never taken time to do anything that brings me passion other than randomly when I'm alone, almost because I feel like I was the thought was drilled in my head oh, you need a real job and then you can do that stuff on the side. You can sing if you want, but you need a real job first and then make your money. And then, but you know what I realized through just living life? I don't want to do that. You know what? I don't want me being creative to be my plan B. I want me being creative to be my plan A, and then there is no plan B. That's what I want because I know that what I'm capable of. When I was so discouraged from being my creative self. But you know what? It's time to make current me happy. It's time to make my inner child happy. Little Moon, it's time to cater to him in the way that, he would be happy for. I'm ready to become that person that little me would have thought was amazing. Because I feel like right now I'm the kind of person that little me would have been ooh, you're old. You just go to work and come home. But I'm ready to be the version of me that little me would have loved. I'm ready. I'm ready to get rid of this unfulfilled feeling. I'm ready. And I'm fully willing for this journey I'm about to go on. It's crazy to think I came to this journey while talking to y'all, but I'm more prepared than ever. It's crazy to think about how long I've wanted this and have never spoken it, but I'm going to say it loud and proud. I want to be creative. I want to draw I want to write. I want to sing. I want to record. I want to stream. I want to do everything. And I'm going to do everything to the best of my abilities. Because I know that I can't do nothing but succeed. I don't have a choice. That's what I was born to do. I say, everybody.